Welcome back, everyone. This is Dusty Circuit here, and I've been wanting to make sort of a an update on kind of the state of my base and all my builds and my farms on Midgard, and also for maybe some of my newer viewers who are just tuning in, I may retouch on some of the history of my builds. Though, forewarning, this is this is gonna be a pretty long video, and it's probably even gonna be broken up into multiple parts. So, I guess just grab the popcorn and sit back and watch, or whatever snack you prefer, and probably also drink. But anyway, so this is my portal room, and some of you may, some of you who have seen my previous videos of this portal room probably notice it looks a lot different than before. And that's because I have decided to, so when I first built this portal room, this ceiling used to be here at about that level there. But I made the decision to raise the ceiling because, well, when I first built this portal room, when Midgard first opened, I planned to use the space above the main area of the portal room for a different purpose. But that original purpose, the original purpose of it was so that I could build one of those, basically one of those shulker box searching machines that have been made popular by Ethos Lab. But the farm team just wasn't having any of me doing that, and also having this big this floor that's literally chock full of redstone. And they just thought it was just too much redstone to have in this section of the server, which is considered a public area because this is where all the portal rooms are. And if you could probably see it on my mini map. This is basically how all the portal rooms are laid out on Midgard. Is basically there's portals going to each and every one of these rooms, and all the rooms here are just kind of laid out in a grid on the roof of the Nether, and as you can see, that's my portal room, and I only really recognize maybe two portal rooms from this picture. This being Void. This is Void, and this is JW, or just Whiskers. But I don't really recognize any of these other portal rooms. And over here is like the events portal room, the birthday portal room, and a few other miscellaneous rooms. But anyway, back to my portal room. So this portal room is really just a larger version of the portal room that I had on the previous server. And And so when I built this portal room, I wanted it to reflect the kind of player that I am in my play style. And so that's why I chose the theme for it that I did. And this floor here, you see, is not just decorative. If I were to step on this pressure plate, yeah, it actually comes to life. And it's really this clock here, with the comparator and the repeaters, that's actually running the whole thing. And there's also a hopper timer that keeps the clock running for a time after you stepped off the pressure plate. I think it's about 20 to 30 seconds. And also, if you could see, there's I also have firework dispensers in the mix, and also randomized at that. And here is actually it's actually an enchanting setup that also, if you want to enchant, you can just press this button and you'll get 3 lapis dispensed to you. And in here, since I'm actually like, it's because if I lose and I die and I lose all my stuff and I have to re-enchant a new sword, it's such a pain to get all the enchantments on a sword. It's like you have to do it in a specific order, or else the cost of enchanting the item exceeds the max cap of, I believe, 40 levels put into the game. So I've created a guide here for basically how to remake a sword, like this sword that has all the enchantments on one sword. Really, with the exception of Bane of Arthropods and Smite, but I don't really use those enchants anyway. But the upper level of my portal room, initially, it served the purpose of being a temporary place to put my shop until the mall opened. And after that, I actually had a kind of a surrogate netherwort farm up there. But but largely, since that area just largely had been going unused, I decided why not just make the portal room bigger. And but the reason I built my portal room this way is also, if it ever comes in the future where the portal limit on Midgard is increased, I do have the option of adding more portals to my portal room without changing the design hugely. And really my idea is to have the upper level be for more portals, but I don't think that's really going to happen anytime soon, so why not we just have the portal room look like this? And, well, if at any point in the future that we get more portals. I still have that option to add more portals to my portal room. But anyway, other than that, my portal room isn't really that different, though due to one change I wanted to make, which was make these redstone lamp columns taller. This had to be run by farm team, and while they denied me making these things taller, Just Whiskers actually suggested actually a couple of designs that I could use instead in place of those extra redstone lamps. And I opted for the redstone dust symbol with the redstone lamps. And I also made these chests taller, which I really only use as just temporary dump chests. But I didn't really know what else to do with the space, so that's what I did. And Just Whiskers also showed, at least in their their rendition of my portal room, that they suggested that they actually posted it in the farm team channel. These basically how I had these areas in between the portals and these redstone lamps. That I actually use these areas to label which these portals they are using different blocks. And I actually really like that idea, so this is actually what I did. So it's like using these different block types, I could see that this is the sorter, and this is the smelter, and this is the auto brewer and the witch farm. And with the prismarine blocks, that's my main base. And the melon and pumpkin farm, and the nether base, and etc. Though my birthday build portal currently is closed because birthday team is actually working on my birthday build for this year, and I can't wait to see that. But anyway, my portals haven't really changed that much, really apart from the layout of them in order to make them, for them to make sense. And I removed 2 portals to free up space, though one of those was just so I could consolidate 2 portals into one, and the other was just an area I no longer needed to go to, or I no longer needed a portal to. So anyway, let's move on to the main base. And there's one thing I initially would like to get out of the way. And a few of you who may have seen my earlier videos of my base, especially my lobby area, may have seen that I have put up a lot of Ukrainian flag banners, and also I've changed the color of my beacons to the blue and yellow in order to more or less just to Because I have, because of that story I have shared in the World Conflicts channel, that I have met someone, at least who lived in Ukraine prior to the war breaking out there, and largely just show support not only for them but their country as well. I decided to kind of adorn my base with those banners and those beacons, but I thought about it for the kind of, I've mulled this over for a little while, and largely out of interest to move the overall vibe of my base away from that and more back to being more skate related. I have decided to replace those with Loki banners, and also my beacons with the Loki colors. And I mean not necessarily to forget about the Ukraine stuff, but more just because Skade, for many people, also for me, is very much a closed and secluded community, and where it can be peaceful here, or it should be peaceful here, no matter what is going on the open internet and what's going on in the outside world. Peace will still remain here on Skade, or Skade will remain peaceful no matter what. And I do I am largely for that, and so I've decided that's really a reason why I've changed up the flags and the flags and the beacons in my base. Though I've also put up the large the large 3x3 Loki banners, which I think are pretty cool. And I still just like, my base is just so beautiful with shaders on. Like, this is just incredible. This looks incredible. Though even for my computer, my upgraded computer, this is still a fairly demanding area. As if you can see my FPS in the top right, I usually hover around like kind of the mid-hundreds, like lower to mid-hundreds of FPS with shaders, but in my base, I actually tend to, it can drop to the 80s and in sometimes even the 60s. But I mean, it's still not bad. But it's just sometimes it can be a little bit jarring. Though, if I turn off the FPS counter, I can still live with it, but it just means that my frame rate drops a considerable amount below the max refresh rate of my monitor, which is a high refresh rate monitor. That's 165 hertz. But another thing, actually, I'm fairly excited about with my base Though down here is just a cactus farm, which I don't use too often, but does supply me with cactus whenever I need it for green dye. And also, though back to the good news here, and so what that is for those of my Skade friends or fellow Skade players who know about my base, when I got it pasted in from the old server, it brought a lot of the ground around it with it, and it was in a different biome from basically a different type of ocean from this ocean that I chose to paste it in. Like, it was in a gravel ocean, or here we're in a sandy ocean. So it's like basically this whole lobby had a square of just like gray gravel around it. And for the longest time, I've just been putting this job off because terraforming just is not something I'm good at. Like, I can build, like I'm decent at building, but I'm best at clean building, geometric building, and symmetrical building, and not really organic and natural looking builds. And I have been begging and begging and begging a driver to help me with this terraforming, as they're known as the terraformer of the server. But contrary to that, they don't terraform. They only terraform for birthday teams because they don't have the time to. They really don't have the time. They don't have much free time to their disposal. So what little free time they do have, they allocate to a birthday team. Which I do understand, but as somebody like as a Minecraft player, it's very frustrating when your friends are not able to help you with something that you desperately need help with. And so for the better part of a few years, I guess more like a couple of years, my base has just sat in need of terraforming that I've just been largely unqualified to do. But luckily for me, fairly recently, Ren Elf actually started a new terraforming service, and also a building service as well. And so if you see over here around my lobby area, like, I don't know if you've seen it before in my videos, but the reason it looks the way it does now, that's all thanks to Ren Elf. And they've also done pretty much also all of this area, pretty much all along this tunnel. And pretty much all this area up to my guardian farm, Ren is all done for me. which I cannot thank them enough for. They're still far from finished, but they're just kind of taking it at the pace they can handle, and I cannot thank them enough for all that they've done. And as you can see, pretty much all this area with all the kelp around it that you can see on the map is all finished, but over here still needs to be done, and all this still needs to be done. But the amount of work that they have done for me, I cannot I cannot appreciate enough. And at first, I have offered only for them to do the lobby at first, just because I was unsure of if Rin would be willing to take on my entire base at as their first they're one of their first jobs. But I was quite surprised that me offering just the lobby for them to do, that was nothing for them. And in fact, they actually told me that they would be more than willing to do the rest of my base. And I did into that. I said sure thing. And for the whole job, they're only asking me for, I believe it's about 20 or 30 netherite ingots, which may seem like a lot, but considering the size of the job that I'm having them do for me, that is actually a fairly good deal, all things considered. And I cannot thank them enough. And so, but for those of you who are new, I started this base back in the old server. I mean, I'm kind of doing this out of order, but as that's okay, I can provide timestamps in the video when I get around to that. But anyway, the history of this base was on the old server. I really wanted to. I had this vision in my head that I wanted to build this. I really wanted to build an underwater base, because actually on the younger players server that I was on before that server, I had built an underwater base there, and I really wanted to build another underwater base on the older players server, so I wanted to I wanted to build kind of a successor of that base on that server, and I originally planned it out, I believe, when the server was in Minecraft. I believe it was version 1.12, though the server, I probably spent the better part of half a year or so on 1.12, or possibly longer. And but just due to events that have taken place on that server, I believe at some point I would have met Lucario, or they would have been known as Colgutton back then, and I believe I ended up kind of moving into their base in a way, And I kind of, for a little while, I called their base home. And then for a little while, and then when Blue and TK had returned to that server, I had ended up calling Atlantis home for a time, or at least that build, or at least some of us probably remember very fondly. But when all hell broke loose, basically in when in Atlantis, and it kind of got disbanded, I finally set off and built the space, and I ended up building it when the server was on version 1.13, I believe. And I figured, well, what better of a time to build an underwater base than in the update Aquatic? So, that's what I did. And this lobby, this room in of itself took me the better part of probably just under a month to build, which includes building the dome, building the walls at the base of the dome, and the kind of this frame of the dome. Though this kind of, like these stairs that you see, like the kind of the thicker arches that I have, those came actually a bit later on. And also this central like pillars in the middle, and also draining all the water out of this dome. Like all took the better part of about a month or so to complete. This aquarium that you see that's in the middle originally was a fraction of the diameter, and was not an aquarium. It was just merely just a pool of water with nothing really in it. But Really, I've been envisioning this aquarium, or at least some kind of an aquarium in my base, since the day I first started building it. But but largely just due to the unstable nature of that server, and also just how susceptible it was to lag. I largely just kind of abandoned the idea of putting an aquarium here, because just that server was just so like that basically that server was a potato, and it couldn't handle very much in the way of anything, like be it redstone or like a lot of entities in one area. That server just would tank. Like if you just had even like it's like basically if you have a query, it's like basically that like that server would lag just from a player having an aquarium with like probably like 30 to 50 fish in it. And just from also, and apparently for me just wanting to have a sorter, was also like the size sorter that I have today would not work on that server. No way. But thanks to Blue's generosity, and just how much Blue cares about our experience, being able to play on on her server. We have Midgard is now probably one of the beefiest servers I've ever played on. And I have experienced quite a few quite a few lag boxes in my day, and have never and this it's just I've been on so many servers that have had like not terrible lag, but just from time to time there'd be that kind of that delayed, like if you open a chest or break a block, where like it kind of there's like a delay for like about a second or so, which is like the classic sign of low TPS, or I guess just a bad connection to the server. But just I have been on so many servers that I've just had a little bit of that lag, that I just thought that that was just a consequence of playing on multiplayer. And well, that's just kind of how multiplayer is. But playing on Midgard has just changed my has just been such a different experience, that like it just makes me think like, oh, it's like it's opened my mind up that if you put enough resources into a Minecraft server, it can run nearly perfectly. And I mean, I still have to accept some compromise when it comes to the size of my farms and my redstone builds, but I'm like the size of redstone builds and farms I'm able to have on Midgard today is probably, and like in some cases it's actually double or even a little more than double what I was allowed to have on the previous server, which I can't be happier about. And anyway, largely because of the aquarium that I've added to my base, I've also added this lower viewing area. So really all this really does is serve as a viewing area for the aquarium. And also and also as a place to put the interface to my beacon color selector, which I'll come back to that in a bit. And this is really just a semi-automatic potion brewer that I just put there largely until I could submit and have a proper auto brewer approved, which has been done now, but I just haven't gotten around to removing that other one. But anyway, I kind of as for this aquarium, I really just aimed to make it look like more or less like how vanilla coral reef biomes look. And this island in the middle of it, I kind of made with world edits. And all the coral, I actually found a coral reef biome in creative and took a bunch of kind of I switched between that and the world that I was building this aquarium in, and I basically copied all the corals in that coral reef, like the coral structures that you see here. I copied all those block for block, or at least to the best of my ability. And I also threw in all these smaller corals and some kelp. And I've also included one of the ruin structures, and also a shipwreck. And I've also put in I believe about 20 or maybe 30 tropical fish in here as well. And actually kind of chilling over here is my turtle pet, which kind of a funny story. So when I was building the dome, this was quite a big area that there were like turtles and like dolphins inside the dome where I was building. And basically all the turtles and all the dolphins escaped the dome before I sealed it, except for this fellow here. I guess he just refused to leave. So I thought, well, why not make him my pet? And also as I'm bad at coming up with names, I actually asked on the Discord for the old community, what should I name this turtle? And Taliesin actually came up with the name Slow Circuit, and that's what I named this fellow. And I also at one point brought a dolphin in here, but I don't know if it despawned or got stuck somewhere and died, but I don't see it here. So anyway, and also, and when I built this central area, I just kind of wanted, Even though builds in Minecraft don't have to obey real world physics, I like to kind of I like to build like as if they have to, so it's like I like to include support columns and trusses and that in my builds. Oh, and it also kind of makes them look more impressive. And all this water that you can see that's flowing down here is coming from up here. But this is just kind of this ring of water up here, and then that's all going down here. Though with the shaders on, it's kind of hard to actually see it. Oh, without shaders, you can see it. You can actually see the water a lot better. Though with my computer upgrades have basically made it like possible for me to actually play Minecraft with shaders on. And it's also kind of changed the way I play this game. And I can't believe how beautiful my lobby also looks with the shaders on, especially at sunset and sunrise. And originally when I made this portal room, I wanted it to kind of like, I wanted my base to kind of have different themes, but I never really ended up continuing that like throughout the rest of the base. Like most of the base is still kind of the quartz and the glass and the sea lanterns theme kind of everywhere. And this lava, I just putting in this lava alone, I think took me a few hours because I would have had to gather, like, this was before this was also before lava farms, so like we had to gather so if you want to make like your own lava lake, you have to gather all the lava buckets from the Nether. And also lava does not spread like water does. So if you want the lava to be solid, you have to place like every single source of lava. You have to place it all by hand. And I forget the number of lava buckets this required, but it was easily like probably 10 or even 20 shulkers full, probably. And kind of a funny story about my portal. Lucario actually designed it for me, or at least they think they helped me design it. And also when this portal originally got lit, it was lit by one of the older staff members of that older community. And when it was initially lit, so if you look closely at this portal, like the reason why there's actually a portal, an obsidian portal frame behind this glass, was back in that community, the owner of that community was really anal about portals and that they had to be possible in vanilla. They really did not want non-vanilla looking portals. So it's like every portal that you have back then had to be, or every portal that you had on that server has to be an obsidian frame, and it had to be square or rectangular, and it had to be it had to be vanilla. It had to be possible in vanilla. So when I originally built this portal, I actually had that in mind. So I put the square portal frame in here, and then I chose to have this decorative frame in front of it. And I also have, I guess if I turn the shaders off, you can see that I also have my initials back there, DC, for Dusty Circuit, of course. But when this portal initially got lit, when it was first created, this decorative frame actually was the portal. Like, even though that was not allowed, this frame with the black concrete blocks, this was what was lit, and not the frame of obsidian behind it. And it was like that for the longest time, and I just kind of rolled with it. And but finally, when my base was copied to Midgard, I was actually able to have a glass portal, and I was able to have the red glass panes. But anyway, that's just kind of some history for you. And but anyway, and also about this opening in the top of my lobby. I initially, when I built this, my plan was initially to have actually some sort of a room be on top of this. But I ended up just leaving it open, and I'm kind of happy I did that because it also serves as a nice and convenient like exit, and also and kind of an entrance in a way, because I use Elytra a lot as a, like, Elytra in portals are like the main methods of transportation that I use on Midgard, and also on that previous server as well. And it just kind of made more sense to me just to leave that open rather than cover it up. And also, I kind of forgot to mention this exit slash entrance that I built here is actually inspired by Subnautica. If you ever played the game, if you ever played Subnautica, and if you recognize the moon pool, that's what this is. So it's basically a way for you to swim in and out of your underwater base in Subnautica. And I've chosen to utilize that in my base as well. And I do plan on having more moon pools, but this was really the first one I built. The next thing, just for the way the thing, this is going to be the last part of my lobby. Oh, or there's already 2 more parts to my lobby, and then we can finally move on to the other parts of the space. And over here is which is the interface to my beacon color selector. And yes, my beacon that is in the center of my lobby actually can display a set of different patterns that I actually made so that you can actually change what pattern the beacon is through this interface. And there's up to 20 different patterns that this system can store. And you can select any one of those 20 patterns simply by entering the number into this button panel. And also the display up there shows what you've selected. And this really, and also what's cool about this is I've also made it work just like the interface of a if you've ever used a calculator, it works similarly to that. So it's like if you enter a number, basically it adds the number and then moves the next digit over. And then you can clear it, and I mean, there's some delay to it, but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. But that's just redstone for you. And in order to actually make the selection, you actually have to press the screen button. But I won't be doing that, and at least in this cut, because it's kind of hard to actually show off the system running, because the actual machine that changes the beacon colors is actually at the bottom of the world. And so kind of for that reason, I'm going to insert a clip of the beacon redstone, or of the part of this setup that actually changes the color of the beacon in action. And I'll be inserting that about now, and when that's finished, I will cut to kind of to showing the redstone. And redstone-wise, this build actually is the most, or at least in terms of just redstone alone, not necessarily hopper usage, this is the most complicated build that I have ever submitted to Farm Team. And I'm frankly surprised that it passed, because at first JW was very skeptical about the direction that I was taking this build in, and understandably so. And but what I've done is I've actually submitted two different versions of this build. So this upgrade actually did a few different things. It added the interface with kind of the calculator style button panel and the display, and it also increased the number of patterns that the system can store and select or address, and it also moved the actual redstone that changes the colors of the beacon down to the new bottom of the world when Midgard had updated to 1.18, and we got the deep slate caves underneath all of the pre-existing world generation. And so, largely also to make way for that aquarium, I wanted to move the redstone for the beacon selector to the new bottom of the world, which would have also required me to build which will allow me to run basically a kind of a redstone bus, if you will, or really just a wire to carry both the selection data and the also the signal for also the selection confirmation, or really when you press the button to start the machine doing its thing. It's like I had to run a longer wire for those signals between the interface section, which is what you see here, and also the part of the circuit on the bottom, which I'm gonna be showing you in a moment. This build alone deserves its own video because it's really a complex system of really just other smaller systems that interact together to form one larger system. And really, if you think about it, that's kind of how all large and complex redstone builds are. Like they're really complicated and they're really complicated if you try to look at the whole system at once, but if you break it down into its respective subsystems, it's easier to understand how it works. But anyway, if you saw the clip of that I've inserted, you would have seen this piston feed tape assembly basically cycling through all the blocks around, and you would have also seen it stop on the selected pattern. And part of what allows the feed tape to stop at the pattern you've selected is as part of what these composters are doing. They're basically a way of basically telling the redstone logic to basically stop here when this pattern passes by. Stop here, and It's just and that's basically how that works, and a kind of in a nutshell. But for the all, like maybe one or two of my viewers that actually care to see it, I will, I guess, be later on uploading a video explaining explaining how that works. For the few that want to see it. Well, the video is really going on long, so I'm going to be ending this part of this video series here. But well, that's the last thing we're covering in this video. No, this is not, this cave I am standing in is not naturally generated. Yes, this is a cave that I actually made myself. Mostly with TNT, and then, rest of it, I've just kind of placed blocks and removed blocks by hand to, like, basically kind of smooth out the rough edges and actually kind of make it look more like a natural cave and less like a TNT crater. And but so when Midgard was going to, actually before Midgard updated, I've had this idea that I want to have some kind of cave underneath my base. I guess because I've seen Etho's lab, I've seen their Let's Play, like their Let's Play that has been going on in the same world since, I believe, Beta 1.8, and is still actually going strong today. What the heck is that? Anyway, I don't know if you can see on the video, but I'm seeing this really weird flickering, like it looks like orange flickering over there. But anyway, so I've seen Etho's Let's Play where he actually discovered he actually went deeper underground, like basically to get into the Deep Slate caves that are under his base, and he's actually found a fairly large. I think he's found a lush cave. I think another cave, but I think there are both lush caves that he's actually decided to dig a tunnel in between and actually kind of annex as part of his man cave, basically. And I've decided I wanted to do that for my base, but when I decided to explore the Deep Slate caves under my base, this area didn't really have much of any caves in it at all. If we go to the map, basically these are the only natural caves around the area. When I first went underground in this area, what was here was just kind of black space that you can see on the map. That was just more or less just solid deep slate. There is no caves there. So I decided that I wanted to make this big cavern myself, and I'm actually fairly happy with how it's turned out, though it's quite a ways from what I would call finish. So my plans for this is for the bottommost part of this cave to be a lava lake. And but as far as how the rest of the cave looks, I'm not sure if I want to go if I want to go Lush Cave or Dripstone Cave or a mixture of both. I haven't really decided, but I really want the finished product of this to actually look like to look amazing and to look like it was a naturally generated cave, or at least to an extent. But as I am not good with terraforming, I have kind of not really been putting as much work into this project as you'd think. But like, I have put a lot of effort into this already, but I've largely kind of taken a break from this project, and I've just kind of worked on it whenever we have fly days on Midgard. Though what really kind of sucks is if I'm flying, it's very slow to break deep slate. Which means, well, if I want to terraform the roof of this cave, it's a huge pain in the butt, unless I actually want to place down tons of scaffolding. And I have no idea if I will eventually turn to Rin to help me finish this, but well, largely because they're already busy with my with the underwater part of my base, or terraforming the ocean floor around my base. I'm gonna do my best to work on this on my own, and if the end result is still not exactly what I want, then I'll turn to Rin. And by the way, actually, this column I actually put here because through this column actually is redstone wires for the beacon color selector, because the lower half of it is underneath the floor here, and the upper half is above there. So I mean, unless I want to run the wires really long to go around the cave, I would have to run them through the cave, and this is just my way of hiding them and actually blending them into the cave. Though I plan on adding more columns to kind of make this look more natural. And apparently I need to light this cave up better. But anyway, I guess I'll be wrapping this at least this segment of my Midgard base and update video series, which I guess is just going to be a series of videos now, because it took me an hour just to talk about my base lobby. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, remember to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you want to see my next videos, be sure to hit the bell for notifications. And peace out. Bye.